Hi everyone and welcome to Road to Print. I'm Andy and this is episode 6 of the Mark III R2 build. And in this episode we're going to be making the shoulder hubs. In case you didn't know, these are the bits that sit between the legs and the body. So in this case on the Mario droid it'll be these lights here. In fact, you can always see in there on the droid there, these bits here. We're making those. So these are the 232 Tim Hebel design ones. The charity droid is going to have the standard Michael Baddeley design ones. And I will show you those in another episode the next time we talk about that droid. This one we're going to concentrate on the 232. So why don't you join me and see how I got on. These are the two pieces for the hub. These are the Tim Hebel 232 hubs, and they go along with the 232 shoulder mounts that are inside R2's body, which we've already talked about. This bit goes against the body. This is the visible bit that you see with the leg against here, like that. And they key together. Get it right way around. They key together like that, and you know it's the right way around because it follows the keyhole shape. So that goes against the body, that goes against the leg, and this bit just here is the visible bit that you see between the two parts of the body and the leg. So that needs cleaning up, and we also need to clean these up as well, get them off the brim and give them a quick clean. And these are the shoulder mount points that go in these holes here. And a little screw goes through there, pokes out the other end, pokes out here, and I believe they are the ones that you bolt the nuts onto on the other side of the leg. I think I'm just trying to. So those come through, poke out the other end. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so they're the bits that poke out the other end, and then on the inside of the body you attach a nut onto, and that's holds the leg in place. Might seem a bit thin, but there's plenty of people who've been doing this and using this mod, and they've been fine. And let's face it, worst comes to worst, I could just reprint these and replace them if they break. They're designed to be replaceable. And likewise, if I really wanted to, I could redesign them and put a thicker bore through here, just about, and put a thicker screw through if I wanted to. I don't think I'm going to need to. It's, as I said, it's a proven design. It's worked. No one's reported any problems with it. So as I said, the other shoulder hub is identical. It's just mirrored for the left-hand side. So what I need to do now is clean up these. I need to get the deburring tool out and clean up the edges of the print. As you can see here, I've got the horrible stringing marks, so they need cleaning up as well. And need to get these off the brim and give them a quick sand. They're also going to need sanding quite a bit to make them smooth, because as I said, they go through these holes, so they need to go through. I might end up drilling these out just to make sure that those fit better, and potentially even drilling this sort of massive countersink out as well, just so it all slides in better. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll clean off the brims, give it a quick sand, make sure it's all nice and smooth. I've got no sharp edges like around here to catch my finger on, because I will cut myself otherwise. And then we'll be good to go on the next bit of bolting it together. They've been sanded, and I've cleaned the insides out as best as I can. As I said, I'm going to have to drill through these. I've also sanded these with 60 grit sanding block, and they're still going to need a bit more, but they should theoretically go through there, and that bit should sit flush here. That's the theory anyway. So next step is I need to attach these two pieces together, and to do that I'm going to need some of these, I think. Is it these ones? No, they're the other bits. Some of these. And I can't get into. Right, these are M8x40. I just have to look to remind myself what they were. M8x40 hex heads. And they go in there, like that. So you just go in like that. They can only go, yeah, they'll key in because there you go. Now these are the bolts that attach to the leg themselves. So the leg will be against here. To hold them in place, we have that, which is now not holding it in place. Why is that? There we go. So there we go. That's, see, there's a bit of play in there. And then just for now, I'm going to put the screws on the end. You may be wondering why I'm doing this when we haven't finished cleaning it up, and the reason is I'm going to use these. Get a cross thread. I'm going to use these to hold the two halves of the hub together, which they don't really do thinking about it, do they? Because there's nothing to hold those together. So this is a bit pointless, but anyway. So if this is the leg, these would be going up against the leg right now. Yeah, this is actually a bit pointless, isn't it? I don't know why I did that. But you can see where they go. As I said, these ones go here. Well, not there, in there. And when they poke through the other side, there'll be a bit of thread coming through, and then that's where the nut gets bolted on, and that's the shoulder mount there. Let's get that. So those don't need quite yet. What we need to sort out now are these holes. Let's do that. I'm going to use a 10mm drill bit. I'm going to drill these out. I will use, if you've got a drill press, that'd be a much easier way. But basically, I'm going to drill down, go all the way through, come out the other side, and that should clean out this shorter hole. If I can find it, I've got a drill bit that will be able, should be able to do this outer hole as well, and that'll clean that up enough for me to just pop those in. Again, these still need cleaning more off anyway, smoothing down. You can see they're fairly smooth already, but yeah, so that's my next step. I'm just going to drill those out, drill all the way through, and then we should be able to get these to go in, and then we'll be, I think that's all we need to do at that point then, because these poke through. Oh, there are some screws that go through here. Yeah, okay, so it's these screws here that hold these two pieces together with a square M4 square nut. Assuming the square nut will actually fit in there. Looks a bit small, but we'll see. Yeah, so I'll drill these holes out. Yeah, done the other one as well. I've drilled out the holes through here, 10mm bit, and it's a little bit stiff, so these need sanding a bit, but in fact, actually, most of them are okay. Yeah, I think that one needs to go with the drill. Most of them are okay. Most of them are okay. They're just going to need sanding a bit more so they're actually smooth enough to go in. And also so I can get these all the way through. Sorry, get these all the way through so they're flush. I was going to use a drill for them to do this countersink, but I haven't got a drill bit that's the right size. I need a 14 or a 12 and a 16. Ready? So I'm going to get the Dremel out. Get the Dremel out and just quickly clean up the insides of these bits just with the drum sander, and that should do that. And then I'll have another go at cleaning these with a higher grit sandpaper, and then they should just both slide in and be able to do them up. Okay, so I've given these a sand out with the drum sander from a Dremel. I was going to use the big drum sander that comes with my Dremel because it's just the right size. Problem is you then go to put said drum sander in and it just sticks in place because there's not enough torque on the sander. So I went for the smaller drum sander, And that's the result. That's what we want. It pushes through like that. I've got a slight bit of, some of them, I've got a slight bit of a resistance at the end, like here, which is fine. I don't mind that. It just means there's less room for it to move around. And when I want to get around the other end, just get a hammer and do that. So that's the plan. So these ones are okay. They're done. This is done. These need a bit more sanding because they're still a bit stiff, and it's just sanding around the thicker edge. Yeah, just sanding around this edge here, I think. And to be honest, a bit more sanding around here wouldn't hurt either. So I'm going to finish sanding that off, and then we'll be ready to move on. And I completely forgotten which one's which now. Yeah, I completely forgot which one's which. Maybe I should have marked these. Anyway, I don't think it really matters. No, it must matter. It must matter. Because these are mirror images of each other. That's the giveaway, but I can't remember if that should be front or back. I'll look into that. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to sand those a bit more. And then we should be able to get those in the left or the right hub, whichever one it is. And we can move on to the next stage. Those are in. And for the most part, they're fairly smooth. There's a couple that are a bit stiff, but it doesn't seem to matter how many times I sand or drill out the hole, it's still a bit stiff. But overall, they're okay, which is fine. That's what I want. So the next step is I'm going to put the hex nuts back in here, and then we can look at putting the smaller screws through here into the square nuts. I need to try and find out which ones those were. I can't remember. And then we also need to put the screws through these bits as well. And then once they're in, that means that these bits are ready to bolt onto into the shoulder hubs themselves. Sorry, not shoulder hubs, shoulder mounting points inside the body. And then I'll be able to work out which ones are left and which one's right. I'm going to mark it as well on this side. I'll put the screws back in. So let's take these all out. Yeah, I mean, this one's still a bit stiff. Needs to be the same on both sides. Right. Over there. So you're for that one and you're for this one. Oh, it really matters. Get the back of the hub off. Put these M8x40s back in. And then put that on. So that's now ready. We just need to put the screws through here. I'll just need to dig those out. Got the hex nuts in, hex bolts even, and I need M4x20 countersinks to go into here, and I need an M4 square nut on the other side there. So first things first, let's put a square nut in. I was honestly expecting that not to fit. Okay, it's a little awkward. This is definitely one of those which way around I need to do this operation. Also, I need a screwdriver. There we go, so that's now in. And I just need to repeat that 3 more times, well, 7 more times. And yeah, then we can look at the next bit, which is putting the M4x30 35s, I think they are. 50, no, sorry, 55s. There. Yeah, M4 55s through there. First, I'll finish this bit off. Those are all screwed in, all 4, all 8 even. And now we turn our attention to these again. Now, as I said before, these go into here, and they are the bits that go into the shoulder mounts themselves. Way more than I need. So these are M4 by 55. And they just go in there like that. And then of course then that goes in there and sits flush. And as you can see there, it's sticking out, which you then screw on the other side of the leg joint. So let's make sure I'm just not missing anything. I am missing something. There needs to be a washer there, so I need to get a washer, which I have here. So M4 washer, and then the nut, so bolt, and then the nut goes on the other side. I'm going to put a nut on now, and it's a nylock nut, just to stop it coming out the other side while I'm busy working. That's as far as it can go. So I'm going to finish off the other 7, and then I'll cut back. Right, I've got all those on, and as you can see, I've put the nuts and washers on these hex bolts as well. Oh, it's a bit sharp. On these hex bolts as well, and it's better. And we're now ready to put these onto the body. As I said, so these go onto the body. There is another section that I haven't talked about yet, and that's these. So these are the lock pieces, and I'll explain how they go on quickly now. And I'll come to these afterwards. So it's probably easy to show in the body itself, but when these get put into the body, these get pushed, just make sure I get this right around, these get pushed up against like that, and then that, I think it's this way around, so I have to double check. That's definitely that way around, and then that's a B, right, that's why. Doesn't fit, so they're labelled A and B. So that gets plugged in, and that gets plugged in like that, and then this goes up against it somehow. I can't remember which way around it goes. Yeah, it goes like that. It goes on like that, and essentially that blocks up the entire gap where the 232 mechanism is. So you pull that out, and then you've got the ability to twist the leg, and you push that back in, and then you're ready to go. So those need cleaning up before I do anything with them anyway. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these into the body itself, so you can see, make sure it all fits okay. Let's get these on the droid. I've had another look at the instructions, and this hole faces the front of the droid, so this side goes here. Oh, sorry, like that. You can see there how it allows you to move the 232 positions, and that's how it looks on the other side. And you can also see that the keyhole shape goes at the bottom, which allows a gap for the wiring to eventually come through here. Now what I am going to do is I'm going to take these nylock nuts off, put a penny washer on. These are M4 penny washers with a 25mm diameter, and then some M4 wing nuts, because I think they'll be a lot easier to use and tighten up than the nylocks, and I'll also be able to get them closer to the up against the edge of the body as well for a tighter fit. So I'm going to do that, and then we can go back and have a. Oh, that's a good point. So for the 232 for 3-legged mode, it'll be facing this way. Yeah, facing this way. And if it's in 2-leg mode, it's going to be more like... Would it be like that? Yeah, it'd be straight up like that. So that's the 3-leg mode. I'm going to leave it screwed into that position because that's eventually how the legs are going to go on anyway. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll cut back when it's all on. You can see how it looks. I've got the one on, and something I've noticed is when trying to undo these nylocks here is that it's just twisting. Now the issue is these. I think it might be alright once the leg's on. Yeah, I think it might be alright once the leg's on, because there'll be a leg holding up and pushing up against the bolt, but at the moment it makes it quite awkward to do it up. So just something to bear in mind when you do yours, that if you haven't actually put the legs on yet, they're just going to spin in place like this when you're trying to undo it. So maybe have a screwdriver on the other side to let you undo it. But just with this one wing nut on, it's already, don't know why that's, hang on, camera's going a bit nuts. Yeah, just with this one wing nut on, it's already, yeah, that's quite hard to move. So I'm quite pleased with that. Yeah, and as you can see here, actually, I thought that keyhole was for this, but obviously it's not, which is fine. Just let you know which way the bottom is. So I'm going to finish these off and do that side, and then I'll show you when we get back. As you can see, I've got 3 of the 4 wing nuts on, and that's on both sides. And now I'm looking at putting these locking blocks in. So they are, it's 2 pieces. So I've sanded this right down with an 80 grit, and this is the B. I suspect when it's in 2-leg mode, the B is actually on the other side, and then that just slots in there. Easily slots in there, he says. Slots in there like that, and then the other side, the other bit labelled B, is supposed to go in there. But you can tell that is quite a bit bigger than the, if it'll focus. It's not going to play today. There we go. As you can tell, that's quite a bit bigger than the hole that's left. So it's a little confusing, but you know, it should go in like, that, and lock the whole thing in. But obviously it's not going to fit, so I decided I'm not going to bother, at least until I can find maybe one that does fit. Maybe there's a variant I haven't looked for yet. So all I'm going to do now is just put the last wing nut on. That seems perfectly stable, even with just the 3 on. Right, I've reprinted these, and I've shrunk them down by 2mm on this direction here. So this is 2mm shorter than the first ones were. So we've got the A. I've cleaned the brim off. We've got the A, and that's the A there. So, oh, that's much better. It needs sanding, but that's much better. And let's try the B. Again, much better. It needs a bit of sanding for it to go in, but it actually fits. So I'm happy with that. I'll sand those and those can go in. But while we're here, I want to talk about something that you've probably been screaming at the screen for like the last 10 minutes or so. And that's, why am I using wing nuts when Tim Hebel's design doesn't call for it? It just calls for the Loctite nuts. Sorry, my light's just flashing. It calls for one of the Loctite nuts. And the whole point of the thing is it's locked by these things, not the wing nuts. You know, these should be loose so that the leg can freely move once the locking parts are removed. And the simple answer to that is the UK MOT process. I am not convinced that just this system, as strong as it is, will fly, because all it takes is for someone to sand this down too much and it's be quite loose. I mean, let's face it, that was quite loose to go in. Yeah, it came in and out quite easily, so I'm relying on that plug to hold it in. All it takes is from a lot of vibrational move on R2's part, going over cobbles or convention halls or whatever, the little metal strips in the doorways, and it'll start to vibrate loose. So I'm not convinced that the UK MOT process will allow just these as a cleared droid. I could be wrong, but I don't know anybody else who's built this 232 system and got it MOT'd. I mean, there are a lot of 232 droids in the UK built like this, with the Mark III with the 232. I don't know how many of them are MOT'd. So I'm hedging my bets, and I'm putting the wing nuts on. So it'll be tightened by the wing nuts, so you'd have to undo the wing nuts, then pull the plug out, and then reverse it to turn it back into 2-leg mode or back into 3-leg mode. Is it a lot of extra work? Yes, but ultimately I want the droids to be safe. I don't want it to suddenly, the pins come vibrating out, because you can't see it because the head will be on. I don't want the pins to come vibrating out, drop on the floor, and then all of a sudden the droid is unstable. That's the last thing I want. I don't want it to crash into any kids or anybody really. These things crashing into you, even 3D printed, it's going to hurt. So yeah, ultimately it's all about safety. It's a little bit of extra inconvenience when changing it into 2-leg or 3-leg mode, but to be fair, I'm used to this system with the wing nuts because that's what I use my styrene droid, so ultimately it doesn't bother me. So when it comes to using this, it's entirely up to you. You can go as the design intended and put the nylock nuts there instead of the wing nuts, and leave it loose so it will move freely until the locking pins are in. Or you can do what I've done, add the wing nuts and add that extra little bit of security. It's entirely up to you. But if you're in the UK, I think you'll need the wing nuts still. So anyway, enough about health and safety. Let's sand those. There we go, sanded, and comes out. And probably will go back in a bit easier. There we go, and goes back in. And that is locked. Likewise on the other side, this one goes in. It's a lot stiffer, but it does come out. Yeah, it does come out. It's just a lot stiffer. It's also has to focus. There we go. So that's in, and that's the 232 locks, and that's the 232 hubs. So yeah, I'm quite happy with those. Yeah, quite happy with those, and I think we're going to leave it there. Next episode, we're probably going to work on the legs themselves, and then we can get this droid onto at least 2 legs, and then we can work on the 3rd leg after that. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.